It's the early 80s and the home computer craze is just taking off. A magazine publisher wants to get in on the ground floor, so they start a new home computer magazine. They've got news, reviews, classifieds, and ads of course, but they need more content. If only there was a way to do that and help grow the home computer market. An electronics nerd, the kind who'd build a computer out of a kit in the late 1970s, just bought one of these newfangled pre-assembled home computers. They make a pretty awesome game that they share with their friends on floppy disks. One friend tells them about a new computer magazine that's accepting paid software submissions. Submitted software will be printed in the back of the magazine, and readers will type it in line by line. A parent keeps hearing things about the educational benefits of computers, so they buy one of these newfangled home computer things for their family. The store gave them a magazine all about the computer as a free gift. In the back of the magazine, there's a bunch of computer programs that you can type in line by line. This is a great opportunity for them and their kid to start learning about computer programming, even if it does seem like they're just copying sentences out of a magazine. Software written for early home computers was small. Like, really small, compared to their modern equivalents. Written in BASIC or machine language, these programs and their data, expanded out for printing, would only take up a few pages of letter-sized paper at most. While there were some magazines distributed entirely on floppy disks back then, most were print-only and didn't include a disk. But, since so many programs were so small, the magazines could still accept software submissions and easily print them in the backs of the magazines for readers to type in. Type-in programs had been around for a while, but the earlier programs were more intended for people already fluent in software development. How do you make it so it's possible for a parent and their kid, both new to computers, to not be totally disappointed when, after spending a few evenings typing in computer codes, their program fails catastrophically and for no apparent reason, just because they transposed two numbers in the middle of the program? Early on, well, that's just how it was. The solution to getting a program typed in correctly was, well, just try harder and be more careful, okay? Yeah, that's terrible advice. Can't we get the computer to, I don't know, compute something? Something that can help us? Think about type-in programs as a method of communication. The printed letters in the magazine are being communicated to your eyes, and then into muscle movements in your fingers to operate the keyboard. When two things are in communication, it can be helpful for the destination to verify what the source sent you, to make sure you've got the content and meaning correct. A very easy verification for computers to perform is to calculate a checksum. The data source does a math problem on the contents of the data they want to send. Once they get the result, they send the data and that result to the destination. The destination then takes the data they received, does the same math problem on it, and checks the result against the source's result. If they're the same, the data's good. Checksums are used all over the place where data is sent and received. Reading and writing to disks, sending data over a network, wireless device communication. There's checksums everywhere. When you generate a checksum, you'll want to generate it for a chunk of data sized small enough to be resent quickly if the checksum math fails in the destination. For human magazine communication, the most reasonable chunk of data to redo is a single line of basic code, or a few characters in a stream of machine language bytes. When I was growing up, we would type in Commodore 64 and 128 programs from Compute's Gazette, specifically using the MLX2 machine language editor. This editor required you to type in 8 hexadecimal numbers, followed by a ninth that acted as a checksum. If you got it wrong, it buzzed at you. Get it right, and you get a friendly ding. I got a copy of Compute's Gazette that featured the code for MLX2, and discovered another program you used to type in MLX2 successfully, the automatic proofreader, which computed checksums for the more difficult to type in basic programs. With these checksum calculations in place, humans could now more confidently begin the tedious task of typing in software straight from the magazine for hours and hours on end. Make sure you have a straight edge to keep track of where you are, take breaks every now and then, chat with your friends on Twitch while you work. Oh, wait, I guess you couldn't do that in the 80s. And when you're done, boom, an awesome game to play with your parents, or a tool to print out banners, or something equally amazing. Type-in programs stopped being a thing in the early 90s when software got to be too big and the hardware the software ran on too complex. Magazines switched from type-in programs to cover disks, where a sturdier 3.5-inch floppy or CD-ROM contained demos, art, games, utilities, and other things gathered up the support to print magazine. But who knows? With all things 1980s retro being popular, maybe type-in programs will return. Maybe as some sort of novelty. Maybe you'll get the code to some can't-miss game or killer app or sweet demo as a series of basic commands or hex codes. You'll spend a couple hours typing in this program, saving it, and then running it, and hoping the code you spent all the energy reconstituting from a printed magazine will be worth the effort.